So happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to Same.
Yes.
We turned 4 years. 5 years. 4 years. 4
Yeah,
years
we're
old.
4 years old now.
Yeah, so this is our 4th year.
No, it's our 5th year.
It's our 5th year.
Or?
Can we redo this? Sounds embarrassing.
21. No, wait, we started in 21. 22, 23, 24, 25. So we're in our 5th year.
I thought it's the 4th year, and when we're turning 5, it's the 5th year. But maybe
No, it's been 4 years, and now it's the start of the 5th year.
Okay.
Because it's going to be 2026, and that will have been 5 years.
Okay, I lived my life wrong. I always said it wrong then.
What?
I always thought that it's the 4th year because we just turned 4. It's like, for example, I'm 32, so I'm like still in my 32nd year.
No, you're in your 33rd year.
Oh, well, see.
Because when you turn 1, you've lived for a whole year.
We should have like a section of did you know? I don't know. Okay, great. So I learned something new. Anyways, happy birthday to Same.
Are we starting over or not?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
People know me by now. Well, and yeah, so kind of like going blindly in this episode. Not that we have a lot of preparation done before the other, but this time we're just really like winging it. And yeah, so I guess we should do like kind of like a retrospective.
Okay.
Of the 4 years, maybe some highlights, some lows. I think that
okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Highlights. Let's start with the highlights.
Let's start with the highlights. Or should we end it on the highlights?
Okay, fine.
So it's like this positive feeling.
Okay, but I feel like we're always complaining in every episode, and someone's gonna like turn on this episode and be like, oh, they're just complaining again.
Okay, fair. Okay, let's do the sandwich thing.
Okay, yeah, that's sandwich.
Okay,
that's a good
sandwich
idea.
feedback thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so highlights, lowlights, highlights.
Yes.
Okay, you want to start or?
Yes, I want to start. Highlight. I wanted to start and now I'm like blank, of course.
I need to open my pants. Sorry, they're way too tight.
Okay, so I can think of highlight while you're doing
Vapiano noodles. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, highlights, I suppose, is to have quotation marks escaped employment life. That's for me a big highlight.
That's a big one, yeah.
So I'm kind of like going in and out of office whenever I want. And I love that we were able to build our own structures, our own schedules, our own, I don't know, just way of working.
Yeah.
And it works for both of us. We both have a little bit of a different way of working, but still we're able to coordinate well and to, I don't know, just like I come to work and I don't have the feeling, oh, I need to work again.
Yeah.
Like, even though there are sometimes things that I don't want to do, obviously, but it still feels great because I have all that freedom attached to it. So it's not as bad as like, no, you know what I mean? It's actually really pretty good. I feel super free.
Yeah. That's definitely, I guess that's probably the big picture highlight of everything.
Yeah.
For me, smaller highlights would be, those are obviously all for me the same highlights, everything you just said. I think smaller highlights for me would be the types of clients that we have worked with.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Getting insights into businesses that I didn't think I would ever get insights into. And I'm not speaking about any specific clients. It's more the type of client. I find the corporate world really interesting, and it's funny to see the insides of those companies and how they work, and in some ways how they don't work. And I don't know, it's cool to get that inside knowledge.
That's true. I know we're doing sandwich, so I need to really like,
we could go back and forth.
Yeah, we need to go back and forth. I just need to make a mental note because I tend to forget things. So, okay, now to a negative part. For sure, the financial struggles that come with running a business.
I think, yeah, the financial instability of it all.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the financial instability
because
of it
it's not necessarily a struggle that's ongoing.
Yeah.
It can be at the beginning, definitely, that was a struggle.
Yeah.
But it's more of the uncertainty of everything.
Yeah, I guess that. And I think it's even more clear when you're a freelancer or you run a studio, or when you're a business owner, basically. Because when you're an employee, you actually are faced with similar things, but it's not on your radar so much because you feel way more secure.
You don't have to think about it.
Exactly. You just come and go, and
you know that your paycheck is going to be coming.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to be paid for the month that you worked. And then you know if you get fired, you still have time.
Yeah.
And you're still going to get paid for the time in between jobs.
Yeah.
And then you also have the safety net of unemployment money.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about Austria. I'm not sure how it's in other countries, but here you have a really, really big safety net as an employee.
So even if you do get laid off suddenly, and obviously the money you get from unemployment isn't the same amount that you get from your employer, and it also depends how long you've been there and all that stuff. It's not like you're going to be left with zero.
Yeah.
And you always have the opportunity to look for another job. Whereas I feel like when you're self-employed, you're constantly looking for new jobs.
Yeah.
In a different way, because you're looking for leads and clients to book you for projects.
Yeah, I guess that's
another
downside.
You're never not looking for a job, actually.
Yeah, no. You're just constantly searching. And whenever you have like a retainer, you like feel like safe for a little bit.
Yeah, and then if you have retainers, those have to be renewed.
Yeah.
Then you have to hope that they renew it, make sure they renew it and all that. It's even the stuff that I guess makes the financials more stable isn't 100% stable, so...
But I think also stability in terms of employment is also a bit of an illusion.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is obviously
but not
way
in
more.
Austria.
No. But it's obviously more stable. I'm just saying that since you don't have to think about these things, it feels more stable, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that you're super stable and secure forever because you're employed.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, definitely at least 90% more stable than freelancers.
Yeah, I think another negative would be the sacrifices we had to make at the beginning in terms of our mental health and probably physical health too, because we were sleep deprived and overworked.
I have gray hair since then.
I know. You say that every other episode.
I just want to be like transparent.
Make sure people know it's not because you're old, but it's because of the stress.
Exactly. I'm super young, so
I think the sacrifices we had to make were necessary. Would I do it again? I don't think so.
No, because obviously in hindsight it's different. Like, would we do it again if we don't know? I would do it again, but obviously knowing what it has in store for us. Because sometimes you just get stuck at that, where we were just making sacrifices, but we didn't get stuck. We ended the loop.
I think that it wasn't necessary. Like, I think it was necessary to a certain extent, but the extent that we did it at was already too much. Like,
no.
Yeah, it was necessary to make certain sacrifices. Like, yeah, you have to put a lot of work into something at the beginning to see it like evolve into something, obviously. But to the extent that we were doing it, did we have to be staying up till 12 every evening? Did we have to be doing meetings at 10 p.m.? No, it was like, we're not doing it now. It wasn't necessary back then either.
No, we
just forced ourselves to, because we never said no to anything and we never set boundaries. So I think that's what I see as, I wouldn't do it again that way. I would do it again, obviously, if I knew that the result would be the same. But I wouldn't do it again like same way.
No, for sure not. I guess it brings us to positive that we have learned to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And that we've learned to say no, and that we've learned to identify projects that make sense for us and projects that don't make sense for us.
Yeah.
Since we used to say yes to basically, I don't know.
Anything the client wanted. We were like, yeah, of course, no. Because we were so scared we would lose them or that they would leave us.
Exactly. And
it was such a toxic relationship.
It was, but at the same time, at that stage, we were just super happy people are booking us. And we were just super happy to have
money at all.
Exactly. And once it got overwhelming, that's when we stopped anyways. I mean, we let it run a bit longer. And then we checked in with ourselves. And at some point we stopped.
Yeah.
Also, when we had the opportunity to stop, we stopped. Or we just identified also that if running a company means we have to do those things, we would just have stopped. running a company
Yeah. And
or running this being in this business.
Yeah, we would have burned out. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people do burn out and then they go back to unemployment.
Yeah. I mean, I was low-key, I was high-key burned out. I feel like I was like
I
a
think
little
I
zombie.
was burned out because I feel like I needed almost years, plural,
Yeah.
to recover.
Yeah, same. I feel like I'm only now at the stage where I'm like really,
Same.
where I'm like really like, okay, I've moved on from, it's just like a distant memory now, but not something that affects me.
I
so
feel like I
much.
only now recovered from burnout.
Yeah.
I really think that I was burned out for
Yeah.
a really long time.
Yeah, like the 2000, I'm saying last year because what I mean is 2023. I was like, there were no ideas in my head. There was nothing in my head to like, I didn't even care. I was like in this state of, this should just run so we can make a living. And I was not very creative in terms of, okay, what are we doing with this company?
Yeah, for me, it was more like I noticed it in my free time and what I did with my free time. It was like I was barely doing work anyway because there wasn't that much work to do. And then I would come home and I still wasn't doing anything because I just didn't have the energy, even though I literally didn't do anything all day or barely did anything all day.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd have all the energy in the world to like do something, but I didn't have the energy to do that.
Yeah.
And now I have personal projects again that I've always had personal projects. Like I never could just do one thing.
Yeah.
And now I have those things again and I feel motivated to do those things, whereas I wouldn't have felt that way last year or the year before.
No. I had that too. And 2023 was just like, I just need to survive kind of year for me.
Yeah.
So 2024, it started going uphill. At the beginning, no. And then slowly, I felt more and more like being in the zone again. Something I felt that I've lost. I don't feel like I'm 100% there again that I used to be, but way more
Yeah,
now
same.
than before. So I'm not sure if if I lost something there in 2022, 2021/2022.
No, I think it was really burnout because I actually Googled it kind of semi-recently because I felt like I was finally recovering from something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe we really were burned out.
Yeah.
And then I Googled it and like burnout can last years, like recovering from burnout.
Okay.
Depending on the severity of it.
Yeah.
It's not something, and it's something that's difficult to measure because it's not like you go to the doctor and they're like, oh yeah, you're burned out.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like something you probably notice yourself or other people tell you like, hey, you're working too much, like you're not doing well. Like I think a lot of people don't even realize it.
No, I mean, I had friends checking up on me.
Yeah.
Like, are you still alive? I'm like, barely.
Yeah, and then I think that it does start to affect your health, like your physical health, and that's usually when people go to the doctor and realize it.
Yeah.
And I think it was affecting our physical health and we didn't realize it, and that it then took us like years to recover from that.
Yeah. But point is, since it's the birthday episode and we're having like an update kind of thing, we're doing better.
I feel like, life update is, I think I'm finally recovered from that.
Yeah, no, me too. I feel way better. And I feel way more focused on what's important and what isn't important, and what I can be like, okay, I will do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's also another positive thing that we've developed over the last 4 years is to have a better sense of what's priority and what isn't priority.
Yeah.
I think that just comes from the experience, obviously, but being able to prioritize things and then communicate that to a client as well, like, hey, this is priority, this isn't priority. So I feel like sometimes clients think everything is a priority and everything's an emergency, and then they just need you to tell them, like, hey, this isn't a big deal and we can fix this later, and then they'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right.
That's true. I mean, we would have just done it.
Yeah, we would have just done everything. Everything
would have sat there and done it, and it's just unrealistic to keep that up. And we're talking about this a lot.
It's also not true. Like, there's never a situation where everything has the same amount of priority.
No, also in life situations.
Exactly. Like, it's never the case. You always have high priority things and then lower priority things, and you delegate that like do the high priority things first.
You spread it out. And also one more thing, the work will never end.
Oh my God, yeah, work never ends.
So you think like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna sit there and do it until midnight and then I'm done. You're not done, because then suddenly someone reappears out of nowhere and has some other high priority tasks for you. Then what do you do? Sit again? I mean, what we used to do was, okay, then sit again there until midnight and fix that person's problem.
Yeah, no, now I'm like, okay, this is tomorrow's problem. Or I'll be like, I'm going to do these things today, and anything else that comes up, unless it's like super high priority,
Yeah,
it's tomorrow's problem.
exactly. So we have learned to be more flexible in that regard, and also to communicate it with the client.
Yeah, another thing I feel like we've gotten way better at is talking to clients. I want to say like politically, like being able to tell them no, or like tell them a boundary and it not sounding like
Yeah,
a boundary, you know, like
it's difficult.
sugarcoating things,
Yeah.
but at the same time being really firm about it.
Yeah, I think you've gotten better at that than I have. With email, yeah, but when I'm in the situation, I need a bit of, okay, wait a second. I got better at it for sure,
Yeah.
but I feel like this is still something I'm working on actively. Like I am actively sitting there and working on it, because I know that this is actually something that I wanna change, and I also recognize that it doesn't help when you say yes to everything and when you don't enforce the boundaries that you've set, because then someone's gonna walk over them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to be like, okay, when is it really necessary to enforce them, and when is it okay to let it slip? And I feel like this balance, to keep that balance, because it's like, what client is it? Is
Yeah.
it like a client that we don't want to work with anymore? Is it a client that has been working with us for years? Like, it really depends on the situation. And to being quick enough to react in situations like that, I still need to work on that. I feel like that's my inner feeling, gotten way better at that. And this is it's actually a goal that I set for myself this year. So
That's true. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
So it's actually a goal for me. So
But I feel like you have gotten better, even if you still feel like you're not there where you want to be yet.
no, I've gotten better for sure, but I'm not where I want to be yet.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. So I want to be more like just enforcing them, like enforcing our general terms, for example.
Yeah.
And just being more firm with it, and not being like, just being like super firm with it. That's what I'm missing, this little component. But also, it's also just different personality types. I'm okay with being who I am and communicating it how I feel is best. However, I feel like there is potential to be better. So
Be more strict.
to be more strict, yeah, but not like in a way I'm like, being an asshole, these are rules, bye.
Yeah.
But being able to communicate it in a nice and diplomatic way without like sweating.
Yeah.
So that would be great.
Another positive thing that I was just thinking of, because I guess I think that helped me get better at enforcing boundaries, is having the opportunity not only to work with certain clients and teams, but then also seeing different agencies be involved in a project that we were also involved in, and how they handle things like that. And being on a call where you're sometimes just there to listen, or your role is pretty minimal, and then you get to see a lot of these conversations about like scope and changes to scope and how they deal with that, and the wording they use and the stuff that they say, and like the way they sometimes will give a client like a non-answer because they need to talk to somebody else about it before they give the client an answer. And there was a lot that we got to learn through those experiences that were sometimes negative, where I was thinking like, wow, I wouldn't say that to a client, or I wouldn't do that with a client. And sometimes positive, where I was like, oh, I'm writing that down for next time the client asks me that.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It's to be on certain projects with certain teams, because we learned a lot through that.
That's for sure. I mean, that's also where I got a bit rid of the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it completely disappeared when I saw agencies way bigger than us doing terrible work.
Yeah.
On all fronts, like not just the output, but also the way they organized it, the way they talked to the client, the way that they presented things, like everything. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because also this job is extremely delicate, especially with the clients we're working with. There's no project like the other. Even if you've worked with the client before, there is no project like the other. And I think that's also where my struggle comes from, because there could be one project that's like from A to Z, super nice, like there are a few hiccups, but fine, they are solvable. For the same client or for similar teams of the same client, suddenly something goes wrong. I'm like, okay, how do you say it? This is usually not us, or this is usually not something that happens.
Yeah.
Or this is usually not how we handle things or whatever. And it's like this delicacy of it all, of having to navigate so many conflict situations. And at some point you're like, oh my God, I'm like already fed up, another conflict situation. And I think when you are in the sector, you need to be like really aware that a lot of conflict situations will come your way. And me as a person, I'm not a conflict-seeking person.
Yeah.
Or someone who likes to be in, maybe there are people, but
there are people.
There are people who like to be in conflict. Fine, I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
So I really seek harmony. So whenever there is a conflict, that's why I freeze up. Because first of all, I don't put myself in situations like that. So I don't have so much experience in those situations.
Yeah.
Second of all, they make me uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. And that's also another reason I want to just get out of the situation. So that's why I'm saying it's more revolved like what's going on within me than really what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of this balanced oopsie.
I don't like conflict, but I'm really good in conflict.
Yeah, but
I don't know why. I think because I've had a lot of conflict in the past with people. And a lot of times I will think before like a situation happens, what could go wrong and what could they throw at me and how am I going to respond to that? So I always think of these things beforehand, and then when I'm in the situation, it's easier to deal with it because I'm like, oh, I already thought of this scenario. Here are the arguments I saved in my head, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's actually a good tip, because I don't do that because I don't even want to think about the conflict.
Yeah. So, but I don't mind thinking about conflicts. I don't like being in them either. Even though you probably don't notice it when I'm in a conflict and I'm saying shit and I'm like throwing stones back at people. But I don't actually enjoy it. It's not like I enjoy being there, being that person.
Yeah, but you enjoy the output.
Because the output
is great.
That they respect you, that they take you seriously, that they don't think they can just walk all over you.
Yeah, that's about the boundary enforcing part. So also in like private situations, it's like important to set your boundaries, but the setting boundaries is not my issue. Reinforcing them a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we talked about this. Why do I need to reinforce them again? And then I feel like this asshole who's just like being like, no, and nagging.
Yeah.
Even though we've already talked about that. And this is kind of like, that's where I still like struggle. That's my struggle right there. So reinforcing them once, I'm fine. But keep reinforcing the same thing feels stupid to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I in this conflict again? I already did this before.
But I think we've had a lot of luck with our clients because we've had some really, really good clients who have respected us and have even set boundaries before we had to set them.
That's true.
Like they will already be the one to say like, I know this is maybe not included in the scope, so please tell me how much it costs. So you don't even have to like communicate that to them.
Honestly, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, exactly. So those kinds of clients give you the confidence to say that to the next client who doesn't see that as like a given. Yeah. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, this and this. And then you're like, okay, this is beyond the scope. We need to scope that out. And you communicate that to them. And I feel like being able to say that comes from other clients having either respected that in the past, or they were the ones to be like, oh, hey, how much is this going to cost? Because then it's like the foundation of all of it is that it shouldn't be a given that extra things should just like, that you'll just do them.
Yeah. No, for sure not. We've gotten super good at that though.
Yeah.
That's something I can say, that's fine. I don't care about rescoping things at all.
Yeah.
It's more about our general rules or general rules.
General terms.
Thank you. Our general terms to reinforce those, I think.
Yeah.
Or where we're like, okay, and look, we've already went beyond scope, please respect it. You know what I mean? Like these things where you're like
I feel like there's always such a gray area at the end of a project.
Exactly.
The end of the project is the worst part.
Exactly, because of course you let it slide a bit because it's like things come up, whatever. But at some point, where do you put the boundary? Like when do you set it exactly? Because if you set it immediately, it's also weird. Like, no, we're not doing anything. This wasn't in the scope.
I think you have to.
Yeah, we probably have to.
That's what other agencies do.
True. That's what
every other agency I've witnessed, they're always like the smallest thing, and we're like, it's not part of the scope.
Yeah,
and
you're thinking once like, no, this is not part. I'm like, girl, you just have to change the CSS rule.
I know, but yeah, they do that. Yeah. So probably right at the beginning.
Probably, yeah. I'll report back. We'll have an update at some point. So I will like hold me accountable if you remember, and then I can talk about it. If it got better, what got better, and what I did. So.
Okay.
But also positive. It also helped me in my private life, actually.
Honestly, same. Like, I mean, I've always been a confident person, but having the business and having the business be successful and being able to say, oh, I'm self-employed like 100% and I earn my money myself. And I've always been super independent anyway. So being able to say like, I can finance my life completely by myself, like it's not dependent on anybody else.
Yeah.
It's an empowering thing. And it gives you the confidence in other areas of your life because you just feel like you've accomplished so much that other people wouldn't be able to accomplish. And it gives you like this, you feel really powerful.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
You're super right.
Yeah.
It's funnily enough, it's not like that for me in my head. I'm like, I feel like even though it's absolutely not true, I've kind of flowed into this state as if it was something, it's like a given that I would do this. I can't even like enjoy it, if that makes sense.
You can't enjoy being self-employed?
I am enjoying being self-employed. Wait, and let me put it differently. Like, I don't think I ever saw my life being somewhere else. And this was like the route I needed to take anyways.
Yeah, same.
Exactly.
But doesn't it feel really exciting that you're only 32 and you've already accomplished your life goal? Like, that's crazy.
It's insane, but in my head it doesn't feel insane. It's like crazy.
You're a therapy girl.
I am in therapy.
I know, because my therapist, one of the things that helped me realize it was my therapist, because she was like, girl, you're 30. I mean, this was like a couple of years ago. She was like, you're not even 30 and you've already accomplished your biggest dream. Like hardly anybody can say that.
Yeah.
Most people are like just starting their careers we're still at the beginning of our career, obviously, but the goal of having a business that runs and is profitable, we met that within a year of starting it. So it's like, that takes a lot of time to process.
No, for sure.
Which is why I needed therapy. She was like, it happened so fast, you didn't have time to process it.
Yeah, maybe I'm still like processing. I think I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. For sure. I mean, obviously, I'm like extremely proud, but whenever I think of it, I'm like, I don't think I register it. That's where it is. Like, I don't take time and register it really.
Yeah.
Even though it's like such a huge accomplishment, like I totally
especially
agree.
In Austria, like everyone has a company in the US. Like everyone, they have like their real estate, whatever, blah, 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 Airbnb. Like everyone's has a company for something.
Yeah.
But in Austria, it's really not normal to do that.
No, I know. It's like, it's insane. Whenever someone says, wow, whatever, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know where this is coming from. I'm like, I feel like I'm not registering it properly.
But one thing that I do find, which I still, that the one time I always feel like, when I tell people I'm self-employed, they always assume I'm rich.
Yeah.
Like they will assume
you're a billionaire.
I'm a millionaire. Like I have an apartment in the first district, penthouse. I'm driving my Mercedes-Benz, walking around with my Louis Vuitton Tasha.
Maybe in 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, these are all things I want. But I don't have them yet. But they assume that that's my life. And it's not. Like, it's really far from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that our salary is what we should be earning. And I don't think it's a salary that people would be like, they'd probably be surprised by the salary because they probably expect it to be double what it is. And yeah, that's when I'm like, I never tell people. They just assume that I never correct them because they just don't think it's their place to know those things. But it's just interesting to me how people automatically assume if you're self-employed, in Austria especially. I feel like it's an Austrian mentality that you're rich.
Yeah, also, like you said, it's difficult to be self-employed in Austria. You pay extremely high taxes. There are not a lot of programs where you can, like, I don't know, just get your feet on the ground or in the ground.
Yeah, it's hard to start at all. And
Exactly.
it's hard to start because you're already hit with a lot of bills at the beginning and a lot of tax and a lot of social security. And yeah, all of that goes to a good cause. I'm not saying we shouldn't pay it, but I do think that Austria doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to grow in the beginning.
So
they actually do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So when you start out, you're like, it's extremely difficult to get to a point where you're profitable.
Yeah.
Because you just pay so much money already at the beginning, already at a very low profit margin, like a very low profit.
Yeah.
You already pay super high taxes.
You already pay a lot of social security before you're even profitable. So yeah, it's crazy. And that's just the system we're in. And I think no one who isn't self-employed knows that. I don't think anybody knows how much you pay.
I didn't know it either when we started.
Yeah.
We were like, let's just start.
and then I guess they always just think you're rich.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say. And then that's when I feel like kind of not annoyed, but I'm like about it because it's not really true. No. I wish I could be like, yeah, I'm living high life, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe that's why I'm like not completely registering it, because our salary is like fine. It's a nice salary. Absolutely not complaining here, but it's not what people would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I don't like that notion that people put that stamp on me when it's not true, and I really don't like being perceived as something that I'm not.
Yeah.
I think I have like really severe issues with that. And yeah, that's when I get awkward then.
Funny story. I was doing a TikTok live stream and I was playing this game with this random people and they were asking about me and they're like, yeah, so where do you live? It was someone who was also from Vienna. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you where I live. Like,
yeah,
that's dangerous. And they're like, because before they had asked so what I do, and I'm like, because they knew I was so old. Everyone in this game is really young, so every time I say my age, they're like, oh, you're so old. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, yeah, I'm self-employed. And then they're like, oh, if you're self-employed, you probably live in the first district.
Yeah,
because self-employed people are rich. That was literally their words. And
really?
I was like, I didn't say anything. I was like, maybe. But yeah, I was just like, it's so funny that this person's head went from self-employment, rich, lives in the first district.
I would say it's the opposite.
Honestly, same.
Honestly,
I feel, for me, self-employed people who are struggling to pay their bills at all.
Yeah.
I think that's because that's what it was for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's and
for people in our network too.
Yeah. All men, we're coming from a field that is severely underpaid.
Yeah.
So making a high pay is, first of all, extremely difficult. Second, making a high life living out of it.
Yeah, because making a lot of money is the easy part, but then there being something left over after you pay all the stuff you have to pay, that's the hard part.
That's the hard part. And yeah, so I don't even know how we got to this.
Yeah, just the thing about the perception of, because you said I think you still have a little bit of imposter syndrome when people are like, wow, you have the business, whatever.
Yeah, I do.
And I have that only when they like start talking about the money.
But I think it's because they assume those things in my head. They assume that I'm like, wow. I feel wow, but that's what I'm saying. I don't feel wow. That's my point, because I haven't registered the wow yet.
Okay.
Although I know when I see the numbers, when we talk, I'm like, wow, yeah, actually we are doing great.
Yeah.
But yeah, since I don't know.
So it's not a positive for you yet.
It is a positive. It's like it is in between where I'm just not registering its positivity.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So it just needs to sink in, even though it's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years and it still hasn't realized.
No, but I think it also stems from the financial instability and from maybe I'm like a bit.
But don't you feel so powerful that we had the financial instability and we were able to not only stabilize it, but also make it profitable again within a year.
No, I am super. It is insane.
That's crazy.
I know.
Not even, it was before a year, within like 6 months.
I know, and I want to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
So let's not spoil it
So
too much.
it should give you even more confidence, because we always say it kind of happened to us at the beginning.
Yeah.
This all happened to us and we did what we did with it, and it turned into something bigger than what it could have been had we not done that.
Yeah, no.
But we just did it again last year.
I know.
In a very short period of time. So it just proves that we can do it and we are good at it.
I know. I feel like we're extremely good at it.
Yeah.
Like that's something I register. I think I just don't register the wow thingy. That's it. I register that we are good at what we're doing. I register that we're actually exceptional at what we are doing.
Yeah.
That's something I register. I do register all those things. I guess this wow effect when someone tells me, wow, you have an agency. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know what should I say to that. I do have an agency, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine people reacting to your job like that. Oh, I'm an engineer.
I think people do react to the other
Really?
jobs like that. Imagine you are a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, okay, but who do you know is a... Yeah, okay. I mean,
or imagine you're
but like your everyday
an
job.
actor. Even if you're not like a big actor, maybe you're an actor in Austria and you do theater here. I'm sure people would still find that super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's like more the
Or you're a
excitement.
dancer. I don't know. I think there are a lot of jobs where people would be like, oh, wow.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about that.
Even if someone told me they have some random office job, but they're like the head of some department, I'd already be like, wow, nice.
Yeah, I guess I express it differently, and I'm just awkward when people like throw this crazy wow at me. I want to talk about it. I do think it's great.
I think you just I think you're just too humble.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
I think you have issues with being arrogant.
I do.
And I don't. So.
Yeah, true. That's true. I feel like that's a big difference.
I'm just
that
like,
we
I
both
don't
have.
care.
No, I care. I just don't like people perceiving me sometimes.
Yeah, but who cares?
I know.
You have an agency.
Wow. Have an agency. Yeah, I should just like go through life like that.
Oh my God.
Honestly, see, another thing to work on. So I am in therapy, guys. All good.
Maybe next year we'll be like,
No, next
after
year
5 years, I finally realized I have
an agency. And I am finally like, wow, I have an agency. I'm like the best. Fuck y'all. No.
This is so funny.
Okay, what a chaotic episode. I already forgot where we are at the sandwich.
I told you we're gonna go back and forth. We went back and forth.
Okay,
we were at a
good.
positive one right now.
Okay, negatives. I feel like the conflict thing was a negative. That we built in a little bit of a negative into a positive point.
That's true, yeah.
Because facing a lot of conflicts is not for everyone, especially for someone like me.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
it turned into a positive because it
exactly.
gave you experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then a negative, I suppose. We're still going to talk in negatives and nothing's in my head. I'm blank.
Sorry. Let me think for a second.
Okay. I have a negative. A negative for me is, I'm not sure how to express it. Maybe you have a better way of expressing it, but like this being in this weird position of, do we need to scale up? Do we need to scale down? What should we do? If we get this project, then we need other people. Like this kind of like, we are super comfy in being a small team. And some projects though would require scaling up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, what are we doing now? It's like these things of, okay, this is going to cost more, which means that we have more responsibilities. That's exactly it. So the responsibilities you have as a business owner, when you're alone, you're mostly responsible for yourself. But when you scale, or if you scale, you're suddenly responsible for other people. And that's something I don't like at all.
Yeah, same.
So that's a huge negative for me. A huge one. A very huge one. Can't believe it just came up now.
Yeah, for sure. Constantly being between, it's nice right now, and then potentially thinking of changing it, or being forced to, if you want to take on certain projects.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely a negative. I feel like that's something we're never going to be without, because I don't see us scaling up again with a team that we would keep over a long period of time, which means there's going to be phases where there's going to be more people, less people. That responsibility is going to be there or not be there. But I think what I do see happening at some point, hopefully in the future, is that we have another person involved in management.
Yeah.
In terms of whether it's the project management or the account management, one of the two.
Or both.
Yeah. Someone who isn't involved in the business decisions, not another partner, but somebody who is below us, and it's the first instance between us and then another person.
I mean, that would be super dreamy.
Yeah.
That's actually what I see as a long-term goal.
Yeah. And I think that would make it more of a positive experience for us, because then if we did have situations where the team was bigger, it wouldn't really affect us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I don't know, like being in between those things is a bit difficult, because there are some people like, yeah, no, I love working with a big team. For us, we love working with a small team and being responsible for not a lot of people. That gave me so much anxiety and stress. So yeah.
I love the situation right now.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. I'm super comfy. I'm really happy and content where we are at right now. And then thinking of, okay, but with the projects coming in, or with the projects we want to do, let's put it that way, I know that realistically we need to have more people.
Yeah.
So that's the bit of a, we want to do this, but at the same time, the consequence of that is this, and it's kind of like annoying.
Yeah. Right now, I feel like we should just cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, no, of course. And also, I think that we've learned so much that the experience will be different.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to add. So maybe it was just a bad experience mentally because of the inexperience.
Yeah.
So now that we're more experienced, I think we will do a much better job at it, but a much better way of handling things.
Yeah, again, we'd be better at setting boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, one last positive thing.
And on a positive note.
Yeah, and on a positive note,
sandwich. Look at us. Yeah.
Sandwich. My hair is so ugly in this episode again.
Oh my God, I'm not even looking at myself. Oh, why do I look like I'm pregnant?
I'm pregnant.
Whatever. Can you make me thin?
I don't know how to
make me non-pregnant.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I'll ask AI.
Okay, I will go a bit back. I don't know. I feel like I was in a weird position.
Well, you were like that the whole episode, so it's a bit late now.
Whatever. Just cut the next thing into the clip. Starting from me.
A positive thing.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Didn't you have something?
No.
I thought you had something.
No.
I was waiting for you to speak.
I was thinking.
Okay. Another positive thing. So like us that we struggle.
You can only think of negative stuff.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
So positive thing that happened throughout the years. You already talked about having clients from specific sectors and to working with them, and also that it has allowed us to take on way less projects.
Yeah.
Which means that the work-life balance got way better.
Yeah.
We're working way less at the point where I'm like, okay, sometimes there's a lot of work suddenly, but then there's like some weird down phase where I'm like, wait a second, I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And that feels super weird because we never had that before. I never had that before, where I'm like sitting, I'm like, okay, I replied to these emails. There's nothing really high priority. Yeah, sure, I could start something, but there's nothing really on the to-do list for today. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That is a positive.
That's a huge positive.
Connected to that, being able to go on holiday for however long we want.
Yeah, holidays.
I feel like that comes back to also just having less work and being able to, obviously it also has to do with boundaries. Even if you have a lot of work, you should just take a holiday whenever you want, of course. But right now we're also in a position where I feel like we can go on a holiday for longer periods of time and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the structure of our company right now, that we don't have a lot of projects at once. Their budgets are high, so money lasts for a lot longer.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and another positive is that we can build our own company. Like we're building our own company as we go. So sometimes it's like 2 years ago now, it was a different company.
Yeah.
And now it's a different company again.
That's true.
It's like this flexibility of that being possible, because when you're an employee, you can't just like change structures unless you're like maybe super high up. But that also takes forever. And we can change them. We can change circumstances, and we can pivot, and we have these flexibilities. And that's also due to the nature of our company, but also where we're currently at. So
yeah, I just thought of another positive.
Wow, look at us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being able to share our knowledge with the podcast and also with the course that we created, having the time to do that and the energy to do it as well.
True.
Is a positive, because I think we had a lot of stuff that we learned in a very short period of time, and then we didn't really know how to share that with people, and then I feel like we figured out a good way to do it with the podcast and then also the course. I think that's a positive thing too. I don't feel like there's a lot of information out there in this form that we have.
No, we're niche.
It's usually very, how do you say? I feel like it's hard to apply a lot of the information you find online to your specific situation.
Yeah, it is.
And I feel like the podcast provides a lot of context for a lot of those things. And our course also provides a lot of context for the types of things you find online when it comes to running a creative business. And the positive of that is, yeah, we went through a lot of bullshit, and I feel a lot of people go through a lot of bullshit before they have success. But the positives of all of that is that you learn a lot through that, and then being able to pass that on to people who maybe are thinking of starting a business or just starting out is nice to know that they have something to refer to, something I would have liked to have.
For sure. I mean, we did find something, but it's still like, it was still not everything was applicable to our situation.
Yeah, and also it's not necessarily relatable.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like in a lot of cases. And also being women in the creative business, running a business is also rare. At least you don't see a lot of it online. Doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means they aren't seen or shown.
Yeah.
And I think it's also positive to be kind of a role model that we didn't have.
That's true. Also, there are not a lot of famous designers who are women.
Yeah, because they're not given the platforms.
Yeah.
They're not chosen as the people that are going to be featured.
Yeah, I know. There's actually, maybe we should do an episode on that. There are a lot of really interesting statistics, but there I want to really like be prepared.
Yeah. We need
and
to
not just like
for
throw
that.
it out there. But there is some really interesting statistics about that. So we should have that in an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think, is there anything else for our birthday to add? We went to have pasta.
Was that our birthday celebration?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we do that every Tuesday.
But we do that all the time.
Okay, fair. But yeah, true. We should do something more special, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Have a croissant.
A croissant. Okay. I'll get us croissants tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, so, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should have some end note here.
It's something inspirational.
Yeah, something inspirational. Well,
What do you gift someone with the 4-year anniversary?
I was just kidding.
There's always like gifts you gift someone like for each anniversary.
I mean, true, but it's also the gift of having this.
Oh my god.
Of being in
I'm
this
cutting
position.
that out. I'm sorry.
I honestly don't know what to give to someone.
That was like these TikTok edits with the inspirational
I
quotes
know.
over someone talking.
No, okay.
I'm gonna make a TikTok edit like that of you.
Nice. Okay. I don't know, because what do you give to someone for running a company for 4 years?
No, they're like gifts that you give your like husband or wife. Like there's a special gift for first year, second year.
Really?
third. Yeah.
Okay.
of marriage, but like companies like marriage. So what's the 4-year anniversary gift? The first year is like paper. You don't know this?
No, I don't think it's a thing here, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely an American thing.
Okay. I never heard of it before. That's why I'm like, what are you talking about?
American UK thing, I think.
Okay.
Because then we can go buy that for same.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Fruit, flowers. Oh, that's kind of cute.
Okay.
In the
We can
US,
get a
it's
new
fruit,
plant.
flowers. In the US, in the UK, it's linen, silk.
Oh, okay.
Modern gift theme, appliances, electrical appliances.
Oh, we got a microwave.
We actually did get a microwave recently.
So we can count that. We can have a new plant.
Yeah, we could get a new plant.
Okay.
Okay,
We'll get a new plant.
perfect.
Okay, I didn't know that thing existed.
That's so funny. I didn't realize that wasn't a thing here.
No. No.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, just.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. If you're interested in the work that we do, then check out our website. And if you want to see more of the behind the scenes or become part of the same community, then follow us on Instagram.